Yay! What's up, Dallas Cowboy Nation? It's your boy G from Jersey with the Quest for Six podcast, man. Today, we are going to be breaking down the Minnesota Vikings offense against our Dallas Cowboys defense in this NFC matchup that puts the 10th seeded Dallas Cowboys with a 6-1 record against the 11th seeded Minnesota Vikings, who have a 5-8 record at AT&T Stadium, 8:20 Eastern Time this Sunday night, folks. You know, Dallas dropped a big game last Thursday against the Detroit Lions out in Detroit. And it was a game, man, that, had Dallas won that game, Dallas would have been in the 8th seed right now. But things turned out the way that they did, and Dallas now has an opportunity to go 7-6-1 on the season and perhaps kill Minnesota's last hopes at a playoff spot. A long shot, but they are still in contention. They haven't officially been eliminated. Minnesota is in 4th place in their division right now, behind the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, and the Detroit Lions, okay? Dallas currently is in 2nd place in the NFC East, trailing the 8-5 Philadelphia Eagles, folks. This is a game, folks, where I called the Minnesota Vikings the Jekyll and Hyde Minnesota Vikings. Reason being, because you never know. You never know what Minnesota Vikings team you're going to, be facing, or what Minnesota Vikings team you're going to see on any particular Sunday, Monday, or Thursday for that matter, okay? They have beaten the Chicago Bears early this season, right? They beat Cincinnati. They have beaten Detroit, and they took Washington to town, right? But then on the flip side, you look at their losses, and they lost 24-21 to Pittsburgh. They took an ugly early season loss, 22-6 to Atlanta, okay? But they've been very much up and down. They haven't necessarily, looked like a confident football team all year. Not the 2024 version of the Minnesota Vikings, all right? On the offensive side, they are led by young quarterback J.J. McCarthy, all right? J.J. McCarthy missed a lot of time this season, but he is back under center. They had Carson Wentz at quarterback for quite a few games this year. J.J. McCarthy was injured, and J.J. McCarthy is entering this contest with 1,092 yards on 102 pass completions, all right? With 9 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. He's been sacked quite a few times too as well, folks. In 7 games, he's been sacked 24 times. Whoa. In total, Minnesota quarterbacks have been sacked an astronomical 47 times. So up front, can the Cowboys win up front? Can they get to the quarterback situation? Minnesota giving up 47 sacks this year, man. So let's see if our defensive front can bounce back in this game. In particular, can we get Donovan Ezerako going, right? He hasn't gotten home in a while. Can Quinnen Williams, Osa Digizua, Kenny Clark bounce back after having a subpar performance against the Detroit Lions, right? And then the other defensive end, is Jadeveon Clowney going to be healthy this week? That is to be seen. He was limited in practice yesterday, but nonetheless, he was practicing, all right? In the rushing attack, they have 2 solid backs, 2 solid running backs. Jordan Mason, 630 yards on the season to go with 6 touchdowns, all right? And Aaron Jones, 376 yards with only 1 touchdown on the season. But we all know Aaron Jones, for some reason, performs big time against the Dallas Cowboys. So that's something to look out for. They have legitimately top 3 wide receiver in the game of football, all right? Justin Jefferson. We understand he doesn't have the yards this year, 810 yards to go with 2 touchdowns, right? And he's been very quiet as of late. But Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. And we know that wide receivers, they have a tendency to show up when the stars are out. So look out for Justin Jefferson this week. Jordan Addison, we have to monitor Jordan Addison. He is hurt, nursing an injury, but Jordan Addison has 37 receptions for 510 yards on the season with 3 touchdowns. So let's look out for that. TJ Hawkinson, their premier star tight end, he is also hurt. But let's see if the Cowboys can bounce back defensively. We saw them struggle on all 3 tiers in last week's game against the Lions. The defensive front, they let the running game go off for the Lions. The linebackers played poorly. Poor effort from the linebacker core last week against the Lions. And then the secondary, right? Poor effort tackling in open space by the Cowboys secondary. Something to monitor. Let's see if Trayvon Diggs gets the green light, okay? But what do I see happening this week? Listen, Minnesota, Jekyll and Hyde, you're going to get one or two things. You're going to get a Cowboys defense that either is lights out on Sunday night, meaning they're going to sack J.J. McCarthy 3 to 4 times, or you're going to get into a shootout with this team because they have the wide receivers to do so. What do I foresee? I think that they come out with some pride. I think the Cowboys defensive front comes out with some pride, and you see a more aggressive approach than what they did against the Detroit Lions. Look for the Cowboys to get at least 3 sacks this week against the Minnesota Vikings. Look for them to intercept, right, this young quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, at least once, all right? We'll get back to you soon with our offensive breakdown against the Minnesota defense. Go Cowboys!